What's happening, guys? It's Abhinav from PhoneBunch and welcome to our unboxing of the retail unit of the Samsung Galaxy J7 2016 edition. So folks, this is the box that the Galaxy J7 2016 comes in. It's actually pretty colorful. You do have NFC built in here as well. And if we talk about the rest of the specs, you get a 1.6 GHz octa-core Exynos 7870. You have 13 megapixel rear, 5 megapixel front camera and a 5.5 inch 720p HD Super AMOLED display. 2 gigs of RAM, 16 gigs of onboard storage. But let's talk about what we get inside the box. First of all, you have the Galaxy J7, then you have a user guide, you have your SAR value right there as well. Next up, you have that 3300 mAh battery. Now the NFC antenna is embedded on the back cover instead of the battery, unlike the J3. You also get a headset within the box. We have seen these quite a number of times and these do sound quite alright. Finally, we have the charger. It's not a fast charger, it's a 1.55 amp charger, so it should fundamentally charge your device a bit faster. And you also have a micro USB data syncing and charging cable within the box. So that's everything that you get in the box with the Galaxy J7. Now let me just remove all these plastic sheets from the Galaxy J7. Now we have got this in gold color. Now it's not the gaudy gold color that you see in many smartphones. It actually looks far more premium and you have a metal frame this time around, unlike previous foam metal finish on the Galaxy J7 2015 edition. Now if we look at the back cover, in itself it is a bit flimsy, but when on the phone it is very solid. Moreover, you have sort of this metallic finish here, which you see right here. It actually looks pretty decent. Moreover, it adds to the grip of the device. Now coming to the insides, you have two separate SIM card slots and a separate micro SD card slot, and both the SIM card supports 4G LTE connectivity, but yes, one at a time. Now let me just close up shop here and power on the phone for the very first time. So the phone has started booting up, and while it does that, let's have a look around the device first. So on the left of the device, you have the two volume buttons which do offer good feedback. They are made out of metal and have good tactile response as well. Now if you move to the top of the device, there's nothing. You do see those antenna bands which are well hidden. They don't look that obtrusive. And on the right of the device, you have the power lock and unlock button, which again does offer good feedback. Now moving to the bottom of the device, you have the audio jack, you have the micro USB port, and you have the primary microphone and the antenna bands there too. At the back, you'll find the speaker, the new 13 megapixel camera with f1.9 aperture lens, and you have that LED flash. And you can see that the camera hump is actually pretty minuscule. Coming to the front, you have a LED flash just like the previous Galaxy J7, a proximity sensor, earpiece, and 5 megapixel front camera. Your capacitive keys below the display, which again don't light up, and a physical home button with decent tactile response. Now coming to this display, it is a Super AMOLED panel, 720p resolution, but it still looks plenty sharp, and you can see it has very wide viewing angles. Even color reproduction is very good. Samsung has worked on it quite a lot. It's not as overpronounced or oversaturated as previous generations. Now talking about hardware again, you can see that we have an accelerometer, a proximity sensor, there's no gyroscope and no ambient light sensor. With that, let's come to the rear camera. It does take images pretty quickly. With f1.9 aperture, you're going to get better images even in lower light. But we would be testing this camera out in greater detail later on. Now the front-facing camera also did a pretty decent job. I took two separate images, one with the flash on and the lights in the studio off, and one with the lights in the studio on, and you can see the difference between them. Even with the lights off, the camera actually did do a pretty decent job with that flash on. Now here's a quick sample that was taken indoors with studio lights, and you can see there is plenty of detail and the color reproduction is actually pretty decent here as well. Now let's talk about software. So the Galaxy J7 2016 comes with Android Marshmallow right out of the box. You have theme support baked in, you have widget support baked in as well in the default launcher. Now again, it's similar to what we have seen with previous Samsung devices. There is no bloat on this device, just basic Google apps, some apps from Microsoft, again something that we have been seeing from Samsung for quite some time. You do have NFC baked in, there's S-Bike mode as well, which we have detailed plenty in our Galaxy J3 review. You do get the April security patch with Android Marshmallow on this device, so it's running the latest build here. Now, if we talk about storage, you will get about 10 odd gigs when you get the device. It is expandable with a micro SD card up to 128 gigs, and yes, USB OTG is also supported and you can move apps to the external SD card. And if we talk about available RAM, with apps open in the background, we had about 500 odd megabytes, and if we killed all the tasks, you can see about 1 GB of RAM was free. Now, as I said earlier, we have talked about the S-Bike mode, which essentially is a sort of an answering machine for your device. Well, it should work well here too. You can check more on it in our Galaxy J3 review. Now, in terms of performance, we didn't have any issues with web browsing. You can see the fluid touch response of this display. Apps open up quickly. There was no lag in animations. And overall, it was a very fluid experience. Now, these are just our first impressions with the device. We will be testing it out furthermore in our gaming, camera and the full in-depth review over the next 2 weeks. Now, the thing that I like most about the new Galaxy J7 is the build. It feels great to hold in hand, it doesn't feel bulky, and the metal frame makes it far more sturdier. So Samsung really listened to us from last time. The design and build have been the biggest improvement. There's more RAM and possibly you have a faster processor here as well. So we will be checking all these things out in our full in-depth review, which will be coming later. So stay tuned to PhoneBunch. Thanks for watching this video. If you have any questions, let us in the comment section. And as always, have a great day.